Good morning. Welcome to Great Transition Strategies Monday Morning Stand-Up. 5 minutes to get your week off to a great start and potentially give you something to help make you a more effective leader. Today's topic, roles, responsibilities, limits of authority. As an executive coach, I work with leaders like you all the time to help those leaders understand themselves, how they lead, so they can be an effective leader and love what they do. Roles, responsibilities, limits of authority. Where is this one coming from? Well, actually, as always, it's coming from a client that I work with. So think about yourself and in your position, the roles, responsibilities, and limits of authority you have. Can you state what your role is, not your job description, and your responsibility in one sentence? Let's go through these and let's take an example. Role, responsibility, limits of authority. What in your leadership? What is your role? What is your role? For me, as the president and founder of Great Transition Strategy, it's to lead my company and the coaches that I work with to deliver what we say we're going to deliver to our clients, the best coaching possible. All right? So that is what I have as my role. That's my role. What's your role? Can you state that succinctly in one sentence that is not a job description? Next, role, responsibility. What is your responsibility? What have you had to just in one sentence state what your responsibility is? So my responsibility, as I think about it, is to create the environment in Great Transition Strategies, create the environment for my coaches and myself to deliver to the clients what they're looking for. Quality coaching. All right, so usually some kind of response, it's create, deliver, something else along those lines. So what does that mean for you? Can you do that in one sentence? Lastly, roles, responsibilities, limits of authority. What are the limits of authority that you have in your position? So me, you think as a business owner, I can do whatever the heck I want. And in some cases, I can do what I want. But I have limits of authority. If I'm working with 1099 employees or W-2s, there's different responsibility, limits of authority I have with that. The hours that they work. I have laws that I have to work with. What are the limits of authority? What are the limits of authority in your organization? Okay, so you should have been able to create for yourself. One sentence, what is your role? One sentence, what is your responsibility? And essentially, write a responsibility statement. Responsibility, limits of authority. Now, let's take this and let's go to your team. So we've used this thing before. You just did that for yourself. And this is coming from a client I was working with. We did this for him. He was struggling with a new position, a change, and he was not really given good direction. So when we went through this, it really made crystal clear to him, okay, here's my role in this organization, here's my responsibility, and here's my limits of authority. And that got him going in the right direction. Then what he did, he took his team and he did the same thing for his team. He did it for himself first. He described what's the role of each individual, what's their responsibility, what's their limits of authority. Then he sat one-on-one with them and he had them do the same thing. And he wanted to see how closely they came. And you know what it did for him? It opened his eyes up. It made him realize, holy smokes, we are completely missing. I have not defined the role of this individual. Marketing. What's his role in marketing? Well, it's to provide marketing to who? To corporate, to the team, to whomever. What's his responsibility? The responsibility, that marketing person had all kinds of people that were working for him. He had to create the environment, the tools, the training, so that way educate those other folks in the marketing department to become great. Roles, responsibilities, and what are the limits of authority? Hire, fire, nope, they cannot hire and fire. Had to come here. This individual, training, limits of authority, this is all I can do. Here's what I can authorize for awards. It was an eye-opening exercise for that leader first, and then be able to apply that to each individual position. So as you think about your team, how can you use this tool? Role, responsibility, limits of authority. And what he ended up doing, he made each individual write a responsibility statement. This is what I am responsible for. One way to help make you more effective. Hope you found that useful. Look forward to an opportunity to work with you. See you next Monday morning, 8:30. Have a great week.